Hey, good morning, everybody. Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Now, I received this 2018. Hope everybody's doing well today. I received this 2018. And I'm opening it now, 4 years later. So I bought an Avalon Hill Status Pro game, it looks like. And they actually taped my address to the actual box. So I guess they're just gonna, without wrapping it. So hopefully it doesn't, I got it off, Jesus. And this is what I got back then, a Status Pro game. I was into Status Pro in 2016 and so on, 2017. And let's see what kind of season I got. I remember buying a couple of late 90s stuff. And I have another somewhere that I haven't opened. I have to find that. All right, so this one is going to be, I believe this one is 92. Let's see. Yep, 92 season. And the reason I bought this, and these are some wacky colors. This was the last season. This was a last-ditch attempt to jump the shark. Basically, it's a dramatic move at the end of a long period of success, and then all of a sudden you start feeling that the end is nearing. You make this extreme move to see if in some way, shape, or form you can shake the market to buy your product. Usually it's a waste because it's not one little thing, and it's usually some over-the-top thing or some superficial thing. Rather than having a good script, let's do something wild, and that'll get us attention. And then all of a sudden, so I'm kind of setting up. So I see that Toronto. This is, I believe, the Toronto wins the World Series that year. I believe we got a good team in '92. I remember watching that. I was a big Yankee fan back then, and I just met my wife, so I remember that, and I was rolling a lot. 93, I think I started rolling. So then I had the 92 season. Again, after about 6 years, I hadn't rolled very much. I was basically in school and working and so on and so forth. So these are cool, 92 season. So this holds a special meaning to me. You know, pitcher at bat card. That's cool. So I want to see like the last thing that Status Pro did and how it changed, because I've seen the early 70s and I've seen I have a bunch of mid 80s. But I want to see, and now I see what the 90s, the last season looks like. They added, National League became brown and the American League became green. This is New York AL, Steve Howe, 92, yeah. So I played with these a lot. I had them in 92 Minnesota. This is Toronto again. What did I do with Toronto? There they are. Alfredo Griffin. He becomes a Yankee at some point. Here's New York. Oakland. Here's Oakland. Everything's kind of coming apart a little bit with these rubber bands that have lost elasticity. 92 Oakland. They had a pretty good team back then as well. Cleveland, Seattle, Boston. This is a fun game. I mean, and you get it's a real simple game to where you get the sense it takes you back in time, you know, to when games were fairly, you know, you didn't have super advanced. You know, remember that super advanced came later, right? When we started out, we had real simple games. Just roll the dice and you get a result, like APA style, you know. Then with time, you know, Stratomatic also had a very simple one side of card, and it was the basic side, and it was just basically. I thought that really Stratomatic upped the ante when they put the results on the cards. And they moved away from any kind of narrative and just wrote like F7. that sort of thing. And I think that was really what made Stratomatic as popular as it became so quickly, was because you didn't have to look at charts anymore, and charts are a pain in the butt. And I think that's evident even today, where all our games are pretty much chartless, or charts are greatly minimized, particularly the most popular games. Nobody wants to look at any charts. Have some rules, that's fine, but forget the charts. That's why I think there's a market for something like Pocket Pennant Run. It's a very superficial game, but it's very the charts. I mean, it's got charts, to be honest with you, and I think that's a misconception about that game. Because it's got a lot of charts. It's got about 6 to 8 different charts, but they're on cards. They're not on 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So no, it's chartless. No, it's not chartless, but the charts are tiny. So if you don't have good eyesight, you're going to have to use a magnifying glass. So anyway, but I think that game appeals to people who are from other games, who play golf or who play horse racing or who play or who aren't heavy duty gamers. They're not hardcore gamers that expect certain things and rules. Because when you start gaming like advanced Stratomatic, and you get into it and it's second nature to you, I don't think you can go to a game that suddenly doesn't have a lot of the things that doesn't have the pass ball, doesn't have a really advanced, a really detailed, and I think just really well done base stealing system. The super advanced base stealing system of Stratomatic, is just genius. And just in Stratomatic, you don't have to look up any charts. You want to play a good game, grab Stratomatic Basic. It's pretty much 90% chartless, except for the X rolls, and those are quick once you get to know it. You don't have to look at a chart every player, whereas let's say with a new game like Pocket Pennant Run, which is really super simple, leaves a lot of the detail of baseball out and has only really 3 or 4 grades, with different, about 12 different variations for certain things. That's really complicated because you got to be looking at a chart, and if you watch my games, I look at one chart, that chart sends me to another chart, and then the roll sends me to another chart, and I've done 3 charts. Whereas Stratomatic is way simpler than that. It cuts to the chase. It just says, hey, fly out, ground out to shortstop, single, runner advances 2 bases, splits, which are always exciting. So I really, but I guess those guys see Stratomatic as more complicated and more old school, but it's not at all. So here are the Yankees. I finally found the Yankees. I'd like to play a game. Super easy. Look how simple these cards are. The nice thing, and this was based on APBA because they're trying to really stress and emphasize the name of the player. He throws right. And I notice how large the font is for that. And that's really cool. I'd love to play a game with this, and I think I'm going to do that now that I pulled it out. Every time I grab a set, I'm like, well, I should maybe sell it. And then all of a sudden I look at it and I say, you know what? Why am I going to sell it? Because I once sold my 71 and 70 APBA sets with extra players, and I had to buy it back. I bought it 3 times. I sold it for 3 times more than what I bought it for, but that's not the point. I really don't need the money to have it there. It's $150 or whatever it is. 100. When I sold it for 150. When I bought it for 50. So don't need really to do that, but I did that because I bought a big lot and it cost me $300, and I bought like 10 sets, and 2 of the sets in that lot were APBA, basically untouched, 1970, 1971. They were pristine. And I said, well, I'm not going to really play this. I wish I would have kept those because the other ones are easy to get. That one's harder to find. So picture at bat card. I bet you there's a picture at bat card also for these guys as well. Oh, these are just blank cards. They give you a bunch of blank cards. This is going to be Pittsburgh, the Pirates, 92 Pirates. American League pitcher at bat card. I guess you would have that for postseason only, it says. Okay. You have 3 of these. That should come in a little plastic. 3 little tokens, little black tokens. Here's Baltimore. And then we go, this is Montreal. Go to the opposite side. Philadelphia. Wow, Philadelphia has a lot of players. Maybe there's 2 teams here. Let's see. I got some stuff on my hands because I'm painting again. I'm a miniature painter, and I stopped painting for a while, but I started up again. I have some old customers, and I just reached out to them and said, hey, because I see people painting online, and I say, wow, my eyesight isn't the same, and my quality isn't the same as it was, but I can pretty much do what they do, and they can see, and I can do it without seeing. So then I said, well, let me just paint up some things that I like to paint up, and just for fun. I still want to pull out the board and see the changes at another pitcher at bat. And here are the nice cards, except there's a lot of grounded to the catcher, and I just changed those and make it a pop-up to the catcher. Too many ground outs to the catcher. I have to change one of those usually. All right, here's the board. This is the charts. The charts go on the table. This was a cool kind of approach, Avalon Hill. You know, there's like a game board. You know, they have the war games that they did. This will be your game board, and these are your charts. Over here, let's go over these. Over here, you can have your stolen base charts. Very easy to play. This is very simple. It's not complicated at all. Then you have your defensive option play chart. Offense decides whether to send the runner on third to home. I already have an automatic rule for that, so I don't worry about that. Pitching adjustment chart. So if the pitching adjustment chart comes into play only in the 7th inning and only when the pitcher is working on a shutout, then you have your sacrifice chart. See that? That's very simple. Is he a BB sack? His rating is the player sack rating a BB, a CC, a DD, an AA. Bunting for a base hit. Then you got squeeze play. You got a squeeze play, and you got advancing on a fly ball. So they try to cover everything. Then you got your reduction. This is optional. Kind of a pain for me. I always forget, but I kind of like it. But I always forget to move the little token. And then a couple of other things. This one is a little bit more of a pain to me because then you got to look at the outfielder. And this is first to third on a single, how fast the runner is, and then of course the throwing arm. The T5 is the best, and you can see it goes down from T2 is the worst. 11 to 15 he'll be safe. Then T5 11 to 42. So the better the arm, the harder it is to advance. So that was a simple system, but it works. So excuse me, that is the board in beautiful shape. These cards are gorgeous. I have another box somewhere. I bought two more sets. I think it was an 89 and a 90 that were unpunched. Status Pro. Here are the rules. Not a lot of rules. Tells you a little bit about everything. Fun game. I'll play it on my channel. So remember to like and subscribe. Click on the bell. Here are some other games that they produce. March Madness. This is Avalon Hill. Sports games. A regatta, I guess it's sailing. Then you had Superstar Baseball. I don't think that had cards. I'm not sure, but I don't remember having cards. Baseball Strategy and Tactics. Key to the actual performance records of the game's greatest players. Sports Illustrated magazine has computed the players' ratings for pitching, hitting, running, and fielding. But you are the manager. Oh, I love that. Okay. Title bout, win, place, or show, horse racing. So you can buy those games back in 90, 91, 92, 93. And here are some score sheets. These are some guys love these score sheets, by the way. A friend of mine, David, likes those score sheets. I'm not a big fan. Here are some other Avalon Hill games. These are their Wargaming, Guadalcanal, Diplomacy. Where's George? That's Across Aprils. They have a ton of games, by the way. Look at this. The company was huge, man. Advanced Squad Leader, Africa Corps. Then you have parts. You can buy parts. This was a big company at the time. Division of Monarch Avalon Inc. This game set does not contain the latest stat cards. Do not be alarmed. Do not return this game to the store. This game is never obsolete. Playable with stat cards, say 5 years old, as with those of more current vintage. So for fast credit card purchasing, I don't know what that's all about. And here's they have some man on base charts that you have to use. And I can't even get these out. Let me see. So man on third, man on second. This is still, you know, a chart game, chart-based game, although only when pretty much most of the results are off the cards. But then there are charts that you got to look out sometimes. So you see your bases loaded chart. Man on second and third, man on first. It just tells you these are easy to memorize because G1s are double plays. G1, G2, G3, G4, G5 are double plays with the infield back. A GX1 is a fielder's choice, and then a G1A is just a grounder to and the runner advances. So this is super easy to memorize. I already memorized these. The X's, they get one. It's really a fielder's choice, and the A is he advances. So it tells you right there. So this is really good. And then of course the FD7 on the card is deep, and usually runner advances if he's fast. So if anybody who's an A will advance, everybody else will hold. A B will advance to center field, and a C will advance. So an A, B, and C advances on a deep fly ball to right field. I mean, this is like you know, intuitive. It's baseball 101. So it's well done. It's got everything you could want. These games go for about $50. You can get the newer sets, any new set you want, modern sets. Ooh, this is tearing a little bit, so I'm going to leave it. This is where you would write to the company. And this is a coupon, I guess. Avalon Hill game coming, $2 credit. Oh, I got a credit. Sounds good. And that's about it, guys. So that's my unboxing, and now I'm itching. You know the itch that we get when we do this stuff. So I'm gonna have to put this on my channel. And thanks for watching. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Remember to join Universal Baseball Association Facebook group. We got some of the leaders in content in the hobby, particularly the dice rolling baseball hobby. They do other things, but they do a lot of baseball. Kurt Berglund and RJL Network, and of course myself. So there's a lot of content on that Facebook group, and this is really a Facebook group, Universal Baseball Association, based on the book, of course. For those of you who read the book or who have not, check it out. It's a fun book, a little wacky. I found it a little bit intense. Almost somebody the other day described it as disturbing. I don't blame them. Has a level of kind of fanaticism that's almost like a Taxi Driver type thing, where the guy could become a mass murderer at any point. He has his own league, and he's the commissioner of the league, and he makes all the decisions, and people think that's actually, he talks about it like it's actually his real job, where he gets paid to do it. It's pretty nuts. And he's kind of obsessive, like most of us are, right, with our hobby. And that's about it. So Universal Baseball Association, the group really for guys that don't like the Facebook groups, and it's really laid back, really easygoing. It's not, you know, a totalitarian site. There's no heavy-handed, you know, hammer-like approaches to everything. You know, some people like that. Some people can control themselves. Other people can't control themselves, so they need those constant restrictions repeated to them. And this site is not for those people. This site is more for somebody who can control themselves and who wants to share and have a good time and have a good conversation, a good discussion. And if we commit a faux pas, hey, I'm the #1 Mr. Faux Pas. You can call me that. I do commit a lot of those, and we just move on. You know, we just kind of shrug it off and put it aside and say, okay, let's start on a clean slate. But we have a lot of great guys over there. Universal Baseball Association, it's growing at a very fast pace. We're welcoming in about 3 to 4 or 5 new members every day, so that's pretty intense. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation of, the one thing I didn't show are the cards. Excuse me. Let's look at the Oakland A's. Let's look at the Oakland A's and look what their cards look like. Here's Mark McGwire. I'll put the pictures down here a little bit. Dave Stewart. Excuse me. Here's some of the throws right. Joe Sluzarski. Ron Darling was on that team. He had one really good season with the A's. I think it was 92. So I may play a game. I may actually replay 92. I'm going to pick it up and then I'll replay it, and I'll get to the Ron Darling games and play those, so I can kind of replay the season and see how he's doing and that sort of thing. Troy Neal, Dennis Eckersley, superstar Dennis Eckersley. Mark McGwire is there. Mark McGwire has home run from 25 to 36. Terry Steinbach. Nelson, another pitcher. Willie Wilson, I didn't know he was on that with them. There's Willie Wilson. Ruben Sierra, he moved to the Yankees. Eventually, he played with the Yankees in, I think, 94, 95, 96, something like that. He also played with the Texas Rangers. Harold Baines, superstar Harold Baines. Horseman, Dave Henderson, Randy Reddy, what a great name. Rick Honeycutt, but he's a utility guy. He plays every position. Randy Reddy, he's ready. He's ready to play left field, right field. Can you see that? Left field, right field, DH, third base, first base, and it tells you how many games he played at each position. Usually, they started to produce every single player that played. I don't know if they continue to do it in 92, but in 85, I got every single player. Walt Weiss, the shortstop. Mike Bordick, I think, was the second baseman. Here he is. Put him in the center. Ricky Hollywood Henderson. Illegas, I don't know how to pronounce that. That's in Spanish. Sean. Excuse me. Lance Blankenship, another utility infielder type. Scott Brocious. He played again, he played a utility role. Goose Gossage. So I got McGwire. You know, where's Canseco? I didn't see Canseco. Oh, was he gone by 92? He may have been gone by 92. So let's see. Sierra plays 144 games in right field. So this is their, and let's see their outfield. Baines is the DH. Wilson plays 120 games in the outfield. Okay, so this is basically the main outfield for the A's right there. Excuse me. And Henderson also plays some outfield, but not that much. Henderson only has 9 games, 12 games total, and 4 games DH. So he is definitely a utility guy. So Goose Gossage, Corsi, Steinbach is their regular catcher. Russell is another pitcher. So they got a ton of pitchers here. Okay, that's good. That says so they did have a lot of players. It's not like Bob Welch, he's another pitcher. Jamie Quirk, a utility guy, played some catcher. Scott Brocious played all over. Lance Blankenship played all over. Mike Bordick, he was the starter pretty much. Weiss, the starter. Moore, another pitcher. Randy Reddy all over the place. Troy Neal played, you know, here and there. Eric Fox played here and there in the outfield. Carney Lansford was their starter at third base. So anyway, that's the Oakland A's, and that's what the cards look like. And it's really easy to, you pull a card, and then it tells you are you going to read it off the pitcher card or the batter card, the PB number. Okay, and then you pull another card. Let's say it's off the batter card. Let's say Ruben Sierra's up. You pull, and it tells you random numbers 47. You go to 47, and it's going to be a out. What kind of an out? He's an SP. That's a spray hitter, I believe it is. So you look at SP on the out sequence, and it's going to be a star line, not a star line. It's going to be a ground ball to third base, but with an asterisk. So you're going to have to pull one more card to see if there's an error on the play to the third baseman, and no error. See that? No error. Usually there's an error number there, and then you would look at the error number on the fielder, see what kind of error it is. So that's it. I showed you a little bit of how easy it is to play. It's just based on card. Now you could play with dice. I have 8-sided dice. Let me see, where are those? Here. Here they are. These are 8-sided dice. So you just can do a green and a white, for example, if you're playing the Oakland A's. Right? And this is going to be, that's going to be your random number, 56. Right? So you can pull a card to see what the PB number is. And it's a 7. So that's going to, let's say it's off the pitcher. Let's look for a pitcher, Mike Moore. So it's going to be off the pitcher's card. We roll a 56, and a 56 It's going to be an out. What kind of an out? Well, it depends who's batting. Let's say it's Willie Wilson. He's an SN. So you pull a card, and it's going to be a pop-up to the second baseman, and there's no error or anything, and that's it. So that's 2 outs. And that's how you would play. So you can play with dice as well. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, with more fun stuff. Remember to like and subscribe and click on that bell so you get alerted to the fun stuff that I'm doing right now. I'm going to be playing an inside pitch game. I'm going to set that up. I'm going to clean all this up. And then I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Take care.